daily results for the SetUpps trading FRISX RAZOR signal indicator for Wednesday, the 29th of April. If you've been following my videos, I've been reporting every single day. From last week, we hit a record of, well, not a record, but we made a total of 210 pips profit using this signal. This is not financial advice, for educational purposes only. And so far this week, we've had 31 pips profit on Monday. Tuesday, the 28th, was a loss of minus 80. Again, the videos are all on YouTube, so you can see the losses and the wins. 9th. Now, if you've been following me, you would know that the signal has been set to trigger from 9 o'clock in the morning, UK time, and closes at 9 p.m. at night. Yesterday, the 6th, however, so we had a first buy signal at about 17 in the morning, and then we had a second signal again a few minutes after. Now, this is where risk management, for the purpose of this video, the signals, we're going by the signal triggering. However, if you're trading, and this is not, I said that's not financial advice, I'm not teaching you how to trade in this video, I'm just showing you how I do it. But I've got a habit of taking money from the market when it presents it to me. Signal on the 1 minute chart is set to a 20 pip TP and the 20 pip stop loss. So it's a risk of 1-to-1, Now, risk reward of 1-to-1. If it goes into profit and hit TP, that's about 20 pips. If it goes against you, hit stop loss 20 pips. So you're risking 20 pips to gain 20 pips. Now, the only reason I've set it this way because it works best on this signal and on this pair. Now, if the signal got triggered, both signals got triggered. If you're taking both signals, now you're obviously in profit at this point, going into a bit of a drawdown, in profit. Now, when it goes past 10 pips, I then move my stop loss to TP. So I move to break even, right? That is to protect my capital. So now I move my stop loss to break even when I'm 10 pips and above. When the price is 10 pips, or the signal, I get 10 pips gain, I would move my stop loss to break even plus 1. But I'm not going to go too much into detail there, so that if the market should go against me, it would stop and I don't lose any money. So in this case, when I hit 10 pips, went over 12.9 pips, came back down again at some point, even went up to 16.6 pips, right? Now, this is where pro traders would protect the capital. So there's no point sitting and waiting for it to drop back to your entry point and go hit stop loss. If you can protect it, then protect it. But again, it comes with skill and experience. But for the purpose of this video, would ignore that and assume that it hits stop loss. Okay. Now, in this case, it did not hit stop loss because another buy signal was triggered. Now, how I trade is that when a signal appears, I will close the existing trade. So in this case, we had 2 trades going back down against us, a few pips apart. I think it's about 5 pips apart. They set and hit stop loss. Now, it didn't hit stop loss. A new trigger a new signal was triggered. So it came back down, and then as this triggered, I would have physically closed the 2 trades. In this case, I closed the 2 at minus 12.2 pips and minus 11 pips, as you can see right there. So a new buy was triggered, and then a few minutes later, another buy was triggered. So if I've opened 2 trades, I mean, you don't have to take both trades, but for the purpose of the video, assume you took 2 trades, took this trade again, and took this one here. This one here within about a couple of hours, 249, 359, so it's actually an hour. That trade opened and closed in profit, hit TP. Happy days. This first one here did not, so that's 20 pips there. It did not, it kept going on and on and on. Again, as I explained earlier on, trade got triggered, or signal triggered, went into profit, 5 pips, dropped down to about 11 pips, 13 pips, 14 pips, back up again, goes up to 17.5 pips, right? Now, at this point, why don't you protect it? It just only makes sense to protect your capital, right? So at this point, you want to move your stop loss from that price to break even at least, so that you've protected your capital. Now, you've got 17 pips almost at TP, right? almost at TP, and then, or you don't protect your capital. So what happens next? And I was in this trade yesterday. News, boom, 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 boom. That goes back into drawdown, right? Sitting there watching it, or you're going to take profit or protect your capital at least. If that news would have taken you back out, and then you'd have protected your capital, right? But if you did not protect your capital and left it running, this is what happened. Gone all the way, came down, back up again, another 12 pips, 13 pips, back down again at a loss. Now another buy got triggered. So I'll call it a loss, but again, that was a -9 pips because it did not go all the way down to the stop loss because a new buy trade triggered. So that buy trade again, let's have a look at that. I'll just move this, delete that. Okay, right, so that again, up in, went back down, 10 pips, right, yep. I'll move my stop loss back to break even. Anyway, went up, came back down again, a bit of a drawdown, went back down again, went up, back, almost hit stop loss, didn't hit stop loss, went back up again. Now it goes past the 9 o'clock. So as I explained earlier in my videos, the signal will not trigger after 9 p.m. However, if it's in a trade, then obviously it's already open. So that goes on and on and on. It goes all overnight throughout the Sydney session, Tokyo session. Now look at that. Goes up almost, oh, actually on this one here, it's about 19 pips, right? So 19 pips. Now look at this. 19 pips. Almost less than a pip to hit TP. Goes back down again. Now again, the market is unpredictable. No one can predict the market. We study the market and then we basically execute. We protect our capital, and then goes back down again. And then guess what happens? Goes back down and hits stop loss. So that's a loss. So for the purpose of the video, I will consider this a loss. Okay. Now, I made profit trading this because I've got experience trading. So I made profit. However, this was a losing day. So I will call it, for the purpose of the video, we'll call it losing day. So if I added all this up here, we've got 23.9, 32.9, 52.9 minus 20. That's minus 32.9. So basically, we had a losing day of minus 32.9. Okay. So far this week, we've had a Monday was a profitable week. It was 31.8 pips. And then Tuesday was minus 80 pips. And then on Wednesday, the 29th, minus 32.9. And then obviously last week, I think we're minus 81 or so pips so far this week. So we're down this week, but again, from last week, because I started the videos last week, and I'm going to go try and share every day for the next month. So we signal this. But again, we're still in, I think we're about 130 up since the last week. So far we're still winning, but we've had a few losses yesterday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Okay, so we'll leave it for now, and I'll see you tomorrow.